Okay, so welcome to everybody watching on Mundo, Películas, all our friends in Latin America. Today we're delighted to be joined by another Norwegian singer. We've had a few recently, Sei Selina. So
Yeah,
thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to get to know you a little bit better and also talk about your music.
yeah.
So, hello.
Hello, thank you guys for inviting me. Very
No
nice.
problem.
Thank
It's a
you.
pleasure. So, before anything, just get to know you a little bit better and the path that brought you to this point, specifically this interview with us. Um, what made you get into music, and what was your path in terms of your own personal training? Are you, well, I say training, are you a trained musician, or are you somebody who's always just kind of been into art in general and has fallen into music? Or
Yeah, I'm not schooled. I don't have a musical education, but well, for me, first of all, I'm a singer-songwriter, so I write a lot, and I've just always written. So in some way along the way, I started writing songs and started collaborating more with musicians that kind of could bring those lyrics to life. And even though I'm not a musician, or I'm a musician but not a producer, uh, it's I do have a lot of producer ideas. So it's been important for me to kind of work with people who can help me really bring out those ideas or kind of set
so,
them to life. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So you do the kind of creative part, and then there's other people there to help you with the more technical side of things.
Yeah. But I do like for this project, only when you're asleep and the EP that comes out, it's only been me and the one producer. So it's like it's been like a partnership where we've kind of just made it all together. Um,
Super.
yeah.
You mentioned there that you're a singer-songwriter. I know it can be an annoying question as a musician, but if you had to kind of categorize yourself in some kind of genre or style, or maybe it's easier if you give us some influences, perhaps.
Um, it is a difficult question. I don't know. I feel like I just write whatever that kind of comes to my mind. I don't know if I have one genre. I don't think I have that. I think it's a combination of soul, pop, a bit country, a bit neo soul. It's like a big mix of a lot of things, I would say. Yeah, and some West African inspired as well. Um, it's a melting pot, I would say.
Melting pot, very nice. So Benjamin,
Yeah, I'll ask you a question that may sound a bit deep, but what would you say is your purpose in making music?
That's a good question. I feel that's a bit interesting because now I've been working for some years in the studio and kind of been writing mostly, it's for myself because I haven't released it yet. But I think that that's something that probably can change. And uh, I don't know, but for now, it's been like I just want to write um, whatever I feel is right for me and whatever feels good in my heart. But that may change as you start to release. I don't know how that will be, but for now it's just been about writing some sort of truth. It doesn't have to be my truth, but it has to be a truth that I believe in a way, if it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. When I heard your song, You Touch My Soul with the melody and lyrics, Only When You're Asleep is a really beautiful and sad song at the same time. What inspired you to write it?
Well, thank you. That's very nice. Only when you're asleep is it's weird because I feel like it's very much about what's fiction, what's not. Is it a dream? Is it a nightmare? And the song came to me while I was like half asleep, half awake. That when you're like and you're just thinking a lot or dreaming, or your unconscious mind kind of goes on a fleet. And suddenly I just heard, you know, the melody, and then the words came, and I was sleeping, but I kind of like forced myself to my phone, and I was like, "'Cause I only love you when you're asleep." And then I recorded it, and I took it to the studio a week later, I think. So I think it came to me in such an unconscious state of mind that it kind of tapped in on like a very serious or like a very naked truth, um, because it is something about like when you're so much in doubt, you know, what's truth, what's not, am I making this up in my head? um, and I feel like me being half asleep kind of caught that right there in a way.
Yeah, when we share your music on Mundo Películas, we got a good share of great and positive comments. How does it feel to have a growing connection with the countries of Latin America?
It's so nice. It's very nice, and I'm very surprised. I wasn't expecting that in a way, but I guess that's how internet works. I wrote this in Bergen, and here we are talking, kind of. But it is very nice, and I do love that a song, you know, that I've written can connect to people that's you know, far away. I think that for me that's the biggest compliment, because then I know that we are tapping into some sort of feeling that is very human, and I just want it to be raw and honest. So I'm happy that people can relate to that.
Yeah, it's cool. And what is your creative process?
Mm, I think it starts with it always starts with an observation, or I have to very often start with the lyrics, I think, because lyrics, it can be like a sentence or maybe a small poem that I've written, but I kind of have to place it in like a universe or in a room. I don't know if it's by the ocean, or is it in a small room where it's kind of like this echo. It's I just have to place the lyrics in a room, and then I can kind of hear how it should sound like as well when I take it into the studio.
Thank you.
Uh, so I'm going to go off piste a little bit, because you said something quite interesting referring to the lyrics about only when you're asleep. And you were talking about the trying to perceive if something is real or a dream. Can you maybe go a little bit deeper on that? Is that kind of a spiritual reference to general reality, or is it perhaps revolving around a particular situation?
Mhm. Yes, I think that, I mean, I think I'm very obsessed, you know, with what is true and what is not. Because we all do this interview, and we are three people here online, and we can all go out of this interview and be like, and it felt completely different for everyone. And that's kind of how we all live this life, because, you know, we all have so many relations, and it's just very weird how then kind of two people who's in the same room can observe a situation completely different, and so it will also affect us very different. And I think that that's kind of how it is in every relation that we have, which is weird, but I'm also very comfortable with that thought, because it's like we are all very different, and we all have different baggage that makes us view things differently as well. And I feel like that's kind of what Only When You're Asleep is kind of portraying, but I do that in a way that it's, you know, I take this female character and a male character, and I make this story, you know, now in like a romantic relation, but it doesn't have to be. It could be, you know, the meaning is a lot more broader than just from a romantic um, partnership. It could be about family or friends or whatever.
Okay, so that leads quite nicely into my next question, which was going to be about when you're writing, is it always from a personal point of view or sometimes from the perspective of others? It sounds like you've used kind of characters within that song to portray your particular message. Is that something you like to do in the songwriting process, almost write from the perspective of a fictional character, but actually they're kind of portraying something that you felt on an individual level?
Yes, I think so. Because it makes it easier, because to have a session, with other musicians, it can be quite naked as a songwriter, to be like, this is my life. But it makes it easier for me to and more interesting if I look at it as characters and not myself, because it may be inspired by a feeling that I've felt for only a couple of seconds, or kind of just only tapped into, but then when I put these characters out, I can really exaggerate everything, and I can make a truth fiction, and it's kind of easier for me to feel comfortable with it, because then I've kind of I'm looking at it more than I'm being here in a way.
Yeah, it's interesting because I speak to a lot of musicians because I've been a musician and studied music, and likewise doing interviews with musicians. There's a common theme of this kind of vulnerability where it's like what you've just spoken about. It almost makes you feel naked to actually talk about your own feelings. So then to put your own feelings into this kind of imaginary character or imaginary body and kind of give the message, which is almost, I mean, if you go back to somebody like David Bowie, it was something that he did a lot now. But would you say then, obviously I've known you for about 10 minutes now, and you seem quite a reserved, quiet person, which might be completely wrong, but which side of your personality, which side of your interior, of your personality, do you think you bring out more in music, which perhaps you struggle with on a day-to-day basis in social situations, just as a normal person, in inverted commas?
Oh, that's a hard question. I feel like that's a hard one. I think that I can be so many. Like this EP is it's quite brutal at times. I think it's very straight to the point. It's not a lot of like fuzzy around the subject. And I think it's sometimes a bit more confident maybe than what I am in real life. It's more unapologetic. That's the word, actually. The music kind of just stands for itself. It can't, it doesn't doubt itself. But it's to doubt yourself is a very humanly feeling. But my music kind of just stands like that, because it's recorded also. You don't get the backstory. It's only up to your own imagination. But I think my music stands, or I don't know. It was a really hard question. This is something I could talk to my psychiatrist about, I think.
Okay, this is
It's
perhaps
hard.
more a question for a psychologist session, perhaps.
Yeah, but it's a good one. Yeah.
Well, okay, so I'll ask you something a little bit nicer or a little bit easier. How would you compare yourself, like as an artist, in terms of, I suppose, the quality, but also the type of process that you do now compared to when you first started making music?
One more time, please. How?
So how would you kind of compare yourself as an artist now in terms of process, and also the kind of work which you're doing and releasing compared to when you first started recording and writing music?
Oh, yes. I think I've kind of found the way that I like to work now. I've been exploring a lot, and and I've tried a lot of different ways kind of to find the way that I like to write. I feel like I'm much more, it's not that I have a recipe, but more like it's more structured a bit, and I kind of know what I where I should take the next step in a way, and just more confident in being true and to really follow what my heart and what my gut says in a way. That's been a process, I think, to keep it true. So yeah, it's more structured now, I think.
Benjamin?
Yeah. Could you, in your own words, describe to the Latin American people who is Sei Selina as an artist?
Mm. Sei Selina is a woman from Bergen who just wanna tell some sort of truth, I think. And I do feel like I got this question the other day if I'm a very melancholic person, and I said no, but I think that was a lie. I do think I have a part of me that can be very melancholic, and I do write a lot about pain. So I feel like it's Say Selena's universe is a space where all painful things can be taken care of or heard in a way, and it can be beautiful. So I feel like it's just Say Selena is just a space where all feelings can be unapologetic. Yes.
Thank you. James?
And so the one you're about to release, you've told us, is an EP now.
Mhm.
So do you have any plans in the immediate future to do a full length album?
If I have plans to make an album now,
Well, yeah, because obviously an EP is going to be what, 4 or 5 tracks?
it's going to be around 6 tracks, I can say.
Okay,
Yes.
so it's kind of on the edge of being an album now, an LP rather than an EP.
Yeah, almost. But it would be a very, very short album, I think.
Exactly. So that's my question. Is there plans to do a full length album anytime soon?
Well, maybe. I am working on the next project now. I haven't gotten that, woo, this is an album feeling yet. And what I do like about this project that I'm now about to release is that some way along the way, we were just like, oh, wait, this is an EP, or this is a project that we can release. So I do hope for the same feeling when it comes to an album. I don't think that I can be like, I'm going to write an album. I think that's just something that should happen in a way. And I don't know when that will happen.
Something more organic. So it might sound like a strange question, but from a personal perspective, I'm somebody who I prefer the process of creating music to finishing the process, if that makes sense. So in actual fact, yeah, like I often feel the sensation of almost like having a hole inside of me when I finish like either an EP or an album or something like that. Are you the opposite? Do you kind of look forward to finishing a project so you can go out there and start playing it and presenting it? Or do you actually prefer the creative process to all the things that come after it when you have finished?
I think maybe a bit of both. Um, you know, right now, this is a special time because it's been Corona for 2 years. So kind of this EP has been kind of laying on my computer for some time now. And, to release it, I would like to go out and play live, and kind of really bring life into it. But and you kind of have to have a open society to do that. But
Certainly help.
yeah, uh, but yeah, I really enjoy. But it's weird. I don't know how I will feel when it's out with that hole in your chest that you were talking about. It will. I feel like I got a taste of that with Only When You're Asleep. It took me like a week, and I was like, yeah, I'm fine. This is okay. And then I was like,
What do I do now?
yes, or I just started crying. I was just then I got suddenly I got overwhelmed because then it was just very whoa. Okay, when the music video got released, it was just oh now it's I made this baby and it's running around and I don't know who's taking care of this child. Please take care of my child.
Like a
I
mother
felt
watching the child go to university.
yes. So I am prepared that I'll probably get that feeling when it comes to the whole EP. But yeah, we'll see.
And is there anybody who, I guess on both levels here, I could ask you realistically in the short term and maybe as a lifelong dream that you would like to collaborate with?
Ooh, I'm very. Uh, I admire so many different musicians that I can't name drop one person, I think. But what I do feel with collaborations is that it should not be, it's not by force. I feel like if I'm at this place in my life and suddenly I'm talking to this person and we have this great connection, suddenly we're in the hallway writing a song, that's lovely. But I don't know who that person is yet.
Well, Benjamin?
Yeah, now I would like to talk about the video clip, Only When You Are Asleep. I love your new video. It seems like a metaphor for drowning but later finally reaching the surface again. Can you tell us more about it? Were you involved in the final concept?
Yeah. The music video was a beautiful process, actually. I would say I wrote this half script, or no, not a script, but like a treatment, a half kind of treatment, where it was more about, explaining the feelings behind the songs and just a longer writing about what I would see, how I feel about this and this part of the song because I do have, the end is very much it begins in it's like the whole song is like a dream, but it has this weird sense of suddenly is it a nightmare or with this really this sounds that's not really comfortable. Um and then it switch over into a complete nightmare at the end or when it gets like really woo. Um and so I did have kind of a lot to say when it came to the video, but then anyways I sent that script to a director called Nils Windfeldt, or my management did, and he read it and he was uh, I don't know, he liked it in some way. And he came back to me with this idea that this all should be illustrated with this magical car that kind of is being filled with water while it's on land, which is it's impossible. So, and I was like, okay, yes, that's perfect. I feel like that illustrates it perfectly because a car can't be filled with water when it's on land. And yeah, it just resonated perfect with the lyrics, I think.
Yeah, there is this very interesting moment on the video when you decide stop being the co-driver and you decide to take the control of the car. That's when you face some difficulties yourself, but you manage to move on by yourself. Maybe this metaphor was invented by me in my head, but could you tell us
Yeah,
about
no,
it?
it's precisely like you say it, where it's you know the song is about trying to take the control back in a way, or to kind of land in something, and to it's like the journey back to the presence, because it's so much doubt in this song on what's true and what's not. And I feel like the song kind of ends with what's it called, with it's hard trying to find the English words, where it's kind of like where you just get comfortable with the truth, for better or for worse, if it makes sense.
Acceptance.
Acceptance, thank you, that's the word. Yeah, where it all just ends with this big, like, I just accept it, and for better or for worse, I accept it all, and now I'll drive my own way, in a way.
Yeah, the video seems to show us that even though we are sad or trapped on something, it's depend on us to find a way of moving on, and it show us that we can do it, you know. It's beautiful, I really like it. Congratulations for this video.
Thank you, thank you. And I mean, change is hard. It really is, and I feel like, we all know that it has to get worse before it gets better. So I was really happy that, that was what I wanted to illustrate, that you just have to kind of stand in it, and you may almost, in this case, drown, but there's a day after tomorrow, and it's I think it's beautiful. Yeah.
Was it the first time you've made a video for one of your songs?
Yes, it was.
And how did you find it compared to the musical process, where perhaps you have more knowledge and more of a clear idea of what you want? How did you find the process of making a video?
It was quite strange, especially, I'm not an actor. So it was definitely strange, but I'm very happy that that I wrote this kind of, this half treatment that I started, where it started, that I sent it to this director, because, I really felt like he could really see me on set, and he really understood me. So whenever I was kind of like in doubt, he would kind of just uh, bring up these references that I had already written, so that he could kind of tell me, we're here, this is the emotion, this is where we are. And then it made sense to me, but I don't know that how it would have gone if we didn't have this great, communication. But it was very fun, and it was a beautiful, beautiful crew and hardworking people. So I felt really safe, and it's so many painful moments in that video, and I'm very happy that the director just took, he had all the time in the world. It was not rushed. The camera was very often just rolling. He didn't say, 1, 2, 3, cut. He just let me kind of be in front of the camera. And I feel like that's how it also came out so true, and not, it's not acting in a way. It's just the video that's portraying life in a way.
And how's the again, with music, and obviously with music videos, you spend so much time, you put so much emotional energy into it, and we've used the analogy of it being like a child. How's the reception been? I know you're the kind of person who's kind of like looking at all the comments, and they're everywhere you posted it, and sometimes, how is that? And well, firstly, how's the reception been, and how do you take the reception personally?
I think it's very nice, and I mean, this is my first song from kind of a project that I'm releasing, so I do really appreciate the people listening and watching. That means a lot to me, and it's very easy for me to reply when someone says something nice. And since it's, it's nice to get good comments back, but I thought, if the song didn't get as, if it wasn't received as good as it has been, I was also kind of okay with that thought as well, because for me, like, this project, I'm proud of it. It feels right for me. So in a way, it wouldn't matter what other people would say. But of course, it is very nice when you get a positive response. Definitely.
Yeah, I think maybe if there has been one advantage to the pandemic situation from an artistic point of view, I feel like music had reached a point before where it's very disposable now. We always use the analogy when I've worked with people before of you spend thousands and thousands of hours and then somebody judges it by the first 5 seconds. Whereas I think now, because people have had more time and obviously people have found themselves in emotionally challenging times, I think they've started searching for music as well. And perhaps, yeah, trying to find things rather than expecting things to come to them, no? So,
And yeah, that's true. And also because, festivals are very much canceled and everything. So a lot of music and connection, it happens online, so I think it's also important to be present there in a way, because that's kind of the only tool that we have in this pandemic that we're still in. So, yeah.
indeed. Benjamin?
What is next for you in a near future?
Well, next up is this EP that comes very early in 2022. And I do also have some very exciting news that I can't share yet, but I do feel like 2022 will be an exciting year. So now it's just like fingers crossed that we get to play really soon, and there will come more music in springtime, summertime as well. So yeah.
You can't give us a clue?
No, it's up to Miss Rona, I think, what will happen. But I do look forward to, playing live next year very much. But I'm just very excited and very ready to share what I've written and made.
I know these are some difficult times, especially with the pandemic scenario, and I am very sorry for what Norway is going through right now. But do you have any plans to come to Latin America, maybe for a concert?
I hope so. I would love to do a festival in Latin America. I would really love to. So we'll see. Maybe. I hope so. Next year.
I should tell you that here in Chile and Latin America, we really like to discover talent artists just like you. And so if you come down to Chile one day, we offer to take you on a tour, try to the best wine, the best beer, the iconic places of the city, a mix between the cultural and the bohemian life, you know. We will we will be happy to have you here.
Perfect. I would love that. I would love to come to Chile, definitely. In Chile, and I would go from Chile to Brazil, maybe. Yeah, I'm very intrigued by South America. So we'll see. But I take you up on your offer. I'll keep it in mind. As
It's a
soon as
great
the
offer.
borders open, I'll be on a flight.
Yeah, the best wine is in Chile.
Yeah. Oh, lovely.
It is work, I'm over time. Don't get reward for giving up my pride.
Well, I think that's everything, certainly from me, Benjamin. So once again, thank you so much. I know these interviews, at least for me and for us, I think always go very quickly, which is a good sign. Maybe for you, it goes more slowly. But thank you so much for joining us. Wish you all the success with the new EP and the video. I really hope for your sake and for everybody's sake, in 2022, hopefully we can all start to reconnect in concerts and see live music again. But yeah, in the short term, I hope you and all your family and friends stay safe during the pandemic, and safe both physically and mentally. And yes, wish you all the best for 2022.
Thank you. And best to you guys as well. Thank you so much, and for all your support. It's very nice, and it was lovely talking to you guys.